It's a heartbreaking scene. Arthur Burney, a beloved father and husband, is dead. His wife, Patricia, performed chest compressions for 11 minutes.
6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But she just couldn't save him.
Trish had said she thought he had a heart attack.
When Waggoner County Sheriff's deputies arrive, they find Arthur's body in the barn lying in a pool of blood.
So they're thinking he's out there in the barn, in the dark, trying to feed his horses, has a heart attack, hits his head. That's why there's blood everywhere.
Nothing really from the initial crime scene made investigators think that there was any type of foul play involved.
District Attorney Jack Thorpe expected the autopsy to show Arthur, who had a history of heart issues, died after suffering a heart attack.
Nobody thought anything was really suspicious.
But when the medical examiner takes a closer look at the x-rays, he's stunned.
And that's when they discovered that there was a bullet in Arthur Burney's brain.
The .22 caliber bullet hole was hidden in a mass of blood just over Arthur's eyebrow. It's now clear Arthur Burney didn't die of natural causes. He was murdered.
All of a sudden, this is a homicide, and it becomes a whodunit. And so law enforcement is looking at everybody.
There were only 3 people at the house: Patricia, their 14-year-old daughter Michelle, and her new boyfriend, 17-year-old Michael Richardson.
It was, which one of you people did it?
At the top of their list, Arthur's grieving widow, Patricia.
She was the person that stood to gain from the death.
Detectives suspect Patricia was the mastermind behind her husband's murder. That dramatic 911 call staged.
I need an ambulance.
And those chest compressions?
6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All fake.
How are those chest compressions coming?
I just lost count.
Patricia's motive? Money.
It seemed to me like it was a good way for Patricia to collect some life insurance money.
But detectives need help proving their case. Where do they go?
The sheriff at the time met me and he said, "Can you keep a secret?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, your dad was murdered."
Arthur's 2 older daughters, who also suspect their stepmom killed their dad.
I knew she had to be involved. There wasn't a doubt in my mind.
Samantha and Karen are willing to play along with the cops, even though they're not sure the motive for their father's murder was money. They claim their dad and Patricia fought constantly over how to discipline their 14-year-old daughter, Michelle. Arthur didn't want Michelle dating, but Patricia was all for it, even sneaking her into bars.
Trish and Michelle went out almost every night to meet different men.
Even though they had a different motive for their dad's murder, Karen and Samantha were determined to do anything they could to help.
That became my sole focus, was I would do whatever it took to help them get her and not get away with this.
For 3 long weeks, the girls had to play along.
It was horrible. At Dad's funeral, Michelle came up and hugged me and pretended to be upset. And the whole time I was praying to God to give me strength not to just strangle her right there.
But the personal pain was paying off. Patricia started to confide in Samantha and Karen.
She changed phones, her and Michelle, because they thought their phones were tapped. So she changed phones and then she calls me to give me her new number. So of course I just called the police and was like, "Hey, this is her new number." It was I was in shock that she was so dumb, that she trusted me so blindly, and that she thought I was dumb enough to just believe everything she was telling me.
While Patricia is talking to Arthur's older daughters, cops discover she was living a double life on a dating website. All of this while Arthur was still very much alive.
She had been online advertising herself to be single. She was telling these other men that she was a widow. Maybe it's not a crime, but it was definitely motive.
It may have been a motive, but it's also an alibi. Turns out Patricia was with one of those other men the night Arthur was shot.
Trish went to meet her boyfriend and had dinner and went back to his hotel room and had a rendezvous with him. And then she went back to the mall and picked up Michelle and Michael.
So if Patricia didn't shoot Arthur, who did? Cops are stumped. So detectives go back to the crime scene for a 3rd time. And there it is, the gun. right there under the house.
I think God wanted us to find the weapon. That was an amazing evidentiary discovery.
The gun's taken to the lab, but comes back with 2 sets of prints. One of them, absolutely unthinkable.
Michelle had been actively searching for someone to help her kill her father.
Up next, did Arthur's 14-year-old daughter really gun down her own dad?
How does it become a good idea to kill somebody?
And the unbelievable twist cops never saw coming.
They had tried to poison Arthur by...
To kill somebody, to kill your dad, I don't know if she ever understands what she took from us.
How did he do that? It was so bad. How does it become a good idea to kill somebody?